Hey everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's in the Tube. Welcome back, if this is your 12th DC Stargirl Season 2 episode review. We have made it too close to the end of another season of television here. It's bittersweet, it really is, because I enjoy Stargirl a lot, I really do. And the fact that we're wrapping up the story and, we're already getting to that. We're wrapping up the characters. We're also setting things up for loosely stuff for season 3. That's usually how it is, because there's absolutely no time they're going to wrap up every single thing, considering the fact they know they're coming back for season 3. They know the story's continuing, and there's so much more that has to be said and spoken that overall with this week's episode, this definitely felt like really good. It was really good. We got back with most of our characters, starting to get the seats together for one epic final battle with Eclipso, and which was great. Which is gonna be great, hopefully. And they're definitely really teasing hard, what are the stakes going into next week's finale, and how different it's gonna be from how season 1's conflict was to now season 2. This definitely felt like getting the gang together, we're setting up the pieces for an epic battle of epic proportions. If epic doesn't sound too overused in my opinion. But again, but I enjoyed this episode. I really did. I think this was another great episode for the show. Still, getting to that point of, I keep saying a lot. I apologize for that. I gotta fix on my vocabulary, because I need to improve my grammar. But still, this episode definitely showcased where these characters are going into, what their mind space is, catching up with some old ones, and definitely kind of issuing new shades, no pun intended, on some established characters already, as things are about to progress into even deeper into darkness. So with that being said, let's go through the butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of Stargirl. So we begin with the most weirdest, but honestly the only way this episode can start out properly, which is we get to see our lovable dog just take over the house. The adults are gone, the kids are gone, no one's around. I'm the man of the house now. He basically just does whatever he wants, and I love this little dog. But all his damage are kind of hidden away once Courtney and the others come home, and the staff also now is back to full charge. Ironically, once Courtney is back, it just ironically decides to be full charge. So it was a nice little reunion for them, have Courtney back home. Even though, for us, it's only been 2 weeks since that last was a feeling, but it definitely feels like a sense of home now, again, since, Courtney experienced what she could have lost, and then now that she gained it back, she does have a much more deeper appreciation for that. Meanwhile, 4 hours ago, before we catch up with Courtney and her family, Beth and Jenny head off to the school to investigate the second dark matter location. The first being the Shade, the second one being back at the school where the battle in the mid-season finale occurred. And there they find a residue of dark energy, which Jenny uses the ring to try and evaporate it. But while the substance is eliminated, Jenny does feel a little bit different about it, but they don't really investigate it too much, since that's when Courtney starts paging through the comms indicating that she is back, and they start running to her house. And I'm like, I am very doubtful it took her 4 hours to run from the school to Courtney's house. I highly doubt it, but let's just go with that. Yeah. So we're back at the house, and I want to see, do we catch it? No, not yet. Where do we start off here? Pat gives Dr. Midnighter some new clothes, since, he's been wearing his uniform for the past decade or so. And while it's a little bit, weird to see him without a suit, to be honest with you, for him, he kind of felt like some relief or something. He's back in the real world. He's now living again. He's among the living again. And it's nice to see that Dr. Midnighter has changed a little bit, since I don't remember if Dr. Midnighter was one of the people that kind of took Pat for granted and just try to kind of teach, let him be a sidekick, and that was it. Never really considered him part of the JSA. I forgot if he was, but even if he doesn't, it definitely showcases a level of newfound respect for Pat, since Pat has been commandeering the ship kind of single-handedly with the new JSA all alone, without any kind of legacy backup. And Dr. Midnighter does have some respect for him now. He definitely does, but now they're more prevalent on the conflict ahead, since they do need to take care of Eclipso now before things get any worse. And again, the key is the staff. Since how do you defeat darkness? With light. Duh. I mean, even I figured that out like the first episode that we knew, oh yeah, Eclipso's going to be a threat. Cindy's exploring the Whitmore house, kind of taking stock of like how different Courtney's childhood was compared to Cindy's, and I kind of did feel bad. Like Cindy did have like a human side of things where she just saw Courtney and Barbara hug, and Cindy's not able to get that since her mom's dead. But she's still trying to play the macho, evildoer, just still respectful to Barbara, but not really much to Courtney. Still establishing the fact that this is just a temporary partnership. Once Eclipso's dead, this partnership is immediately dissolved. Beth and Cindy come in, and they're obviously elated for Courtney to be back, but of course very much dumbfounded that Cindy's back among them, and well, that's also temporarily taken away by Beth's emotions since Beth finally gets to meet Dr. Midnighter for the very first time. And for them, it's weird because you felt like you know them, their interactions, but you don't. It's so weird, but Dr. Midnight has already accepted Beth as a worthy successor to the title, so that's why he's more willing to kind of like go throughout for her quirks, which works out in Beth finally getting to have like the real Chuck in front of her is something that she's still not believing, and she's just ready to see where things could go from there. And also, yeah, they combine their forces to kind of try and reduce the amount of time they have to find Eclipso, which was reduced from 8 hours to 4 hours, which kind of works, I guess. Let's go with that. Courtney does tell her mom and Pat that she's gonna go after Yolanda and see if she can convince her, since this fight with Eclipso might be their last one, so they're gonna need every hand on deck. Pat's kind of like focused on trying to get Rick out of prison without the fear of trial and stuff like that. And Barbara's just running the ship since she has two extra teenagers in the house. One that is now corrupted by darkness, and the other one who is darkness. Sorry, that was my worst pun ever. I apologize. I'm already tired as hell. So from that point, I want to say we split up from there. Meanwhile, they all wonder, where the heck is Mike? Where is he? What's he been doing up to? Obviously, we know already. Thunderbolt's back. He's active again. Mike's going around town to kind of, survey Thunderbolt's, damage of the warpath. He eventually does run into Jameek, the new kid who has the pen now, and Mike is initially just like telling him like, okay, you have this power now. I got her with the JSA. We'll be back to them momentarily. Courtney does find Yolanda at church, and it's so weird to see Yolanda again. Like, honestly, the way they kind of wrote Yolanda off was kind of like, oh, we just don't have the actress anymore. She's just gone. Honestly, if that was the case, I wouldn't be surprised. But like, honestly, I knew like, yeah, she was gonna come back. But it was just so weird the way they handled. Like, we just get no appearances for almost a month that I almost forgot what Yolanda looked like or how she sounded like. That's how much it's been. And Yolanda's still like, very statured, like, my mom's gonna be here any second. You can't be here. You gotta keep moving. But Courtney tries to like, tell her like, hey, look, you weren't the first JSA member to kill someone. Starman did before. Ted Grant had a responsibility for it. Everyone had a hand in it, and that doesn't make things better with Yolanda, since, not only is now in her context like, oh, then I'm basically the successor to a killer. So the costume never really meant anything heroic. It meant like, oh, I killed someone. So that doesn't really help her case that much, and she doesn't even listen to Courtney about the upcoming conflict or anything else. It's just that I made it clear I'm not going to be Wildcat anymore. I'm not part of the team anymore, and she leaves Courtney there, and Cindy watches from a distance. So keep that in mind. Pat heads over to the hospital to talk to Rick's uncle to see if he can drop the charges, and also Rick's uncle apparently can't speak right now. I don't know if his jaw is frozen or, something happened so he can't speak right now. But one of the key things to notice is that Pat is kind of darkened a little bit. Like, he kind of has. Like, given the situation, like, he kind of has. Because, he at first he was, like, very chill. He was going to accept it and just, like, we'll find another way. But he gets his hands dirty, if I have to say that weirdly enough. He closes all the shades. He locks all the doors. Just like, I'm going to show you how serious this is, and I'm just like, damn, Pat got some balls here. Like Pat developed his dark side like in before his 50s. I don't even know he's 50. I don't know. At this point, he has to be 50. I cannot imagine him being anything less than 47 because like this man has not only lived through a superhero, he lived through two types of superheroes with the same name, and then also he had his own son. He got married. He has technically a teenage stepdaughter. Like there, absolutely no way. I don't think he's like at least 48 or something. So he teaches Rick's uncle a lesson, and Rick's uncle thankfully drops the charges, and he picks up Rick from there. And like now that like things are resolved, don't worry about it. Like right now, the thing that we need to worry about to focus on is, you need to repair the hourglass, and we need to get Stripe back in order. We need all hands on deck to fight off Eclipso. So that's where they wrap up for the week. Barbara's at home, like kind of dealing with like the two sides of things with both Cindy and Cindy and Jenny being there. Cindy being more like the weird like the moment where like Barbara gave her a sandwich to eat. I felt like that was the first time someone actually really fed her a meal in a while. I don't know why. I'm just taking stock of it. And Cindy's obviously dealing with the whole darkness in her now in the ring, and her body's starting to like have these episodes where she's having these dark visions of everyone dead on the ground and stuff like that. So that's a little concerning. And also she is basically forced to take a rest because she is going to be vital in the battle to come. So she needs the rest, and she's not going to be a help if she doesn't rest up. But she feels like there is something she can do right now if she puts her effort to it. But Barbara's like, no, don't worry about it. Like just rest up and be at your full strength. I want to say Courtney does round back over to Barbara to tell her, like, yeah, Yolanda's probably not going to come back. It's probably a done deal. We're going to have to figure out the plan without her. And Courtney does ask her mother about, like, even though, like, in the Shadowland, like, those figments and, representations of, what life is was just in a very intensified darkness of what was actually going on. But she does ask her mom, like, hey, did you ever regret having me? Did you ever regret putting aside your dreams, your plans in life to have me, to raise me? And Barbara's just honest, like, you're my daughter. Like, I love you. Like, this was the way things were meant to be, and I have no issue with it. Which, again, showcases, like, the Shadowlands definitely amplifies someone's darkness, even though it could be just on the minuscule scale of things. That's just how things work there. Back at Yolanda's house for the first time, I think, since episode 4, she contemplates naturally going back to Courtney's side of things when she finds the old letter that Courtney left her back in season 1 that, she needs her. And she's debating about it, but Cindy drops in to try and convince her on her own end. But, of course, Yolanda wants nothing to do with Cindy since of everything she's done to her since before the show started. And Cindy is aware of this, but she never apologizes. She just is aware of the fact and just still tries to intimidate her, like, to put back on the costumes, to, like, really help out, since, like, this is an all hands on deck situation. Yolanda doesn't believe Courtney would even ever recruit Cindy, and Cindy's like, don't worry. Once Eclipso's dead, I'm gone. Don't worry about it. So you don't have to deal with me for long. We just have to deal with this together. And Yolanda's kind of at crossroads because, like, she does kind of want to help, but at the same time, now, like, she's seen what measures Courtney has to do to defeat Eclipso. Is it going to be all right in the end? We'll catch more on that in a bit. I want to say is there another Beth and Dr. Midnight? I don't think we do. I think that was it for them for the week, if I'm recalling. So, oh yeah, I forgot. There was in their like first interaction together in person. It turns out Dr. Midnight has his own pair of goggles as well as Beth, so they can both have their own respective goggles, if that makes any lick of sense. I want to say no, not yet. No, we don't get to that yet. But I do know once Courtney heads back home, that's when Yolanda comes in, and that's apparently 10 o'clock. So because the TV just went back to normal on me, if I could shut it off on my own, there we go. Yolanda shows up, immediately bombards Courtney with questions about, like, why is she doing this? Like, why are you recruiting Cindy? And that sort of things. And Courtney's like explained to her like this is just like we have no other option. We have no choice. We have to team up. And Yolanda's like, fine, I'll put on the suit one last time. Like I will be Wildcat one more time, but once it's all over, I'm still done. I'm not coming back. And Courtney just sees it as like a minor victory. Like she said yes, so there's a hope. But I'm looking at Yolanda's face. I'm like, yeah, there's absolutely no way she's gonna come back. Absolutely, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah, so they leave it off there, and I want to say, what else do we get? I know we get kind of like a montage, or is there something else? Oh yeah, I do remember. So Dr. Midnighter and Beth are exploring another possible point of Eclipso, back at not the school, at City Hall. I want to say, I think it was City Hall. It was in a building, and Eclipso's there in child form, and obviously we see the real Eclipso through the goggles. Very well aware this is the last step of his plan. Like he's here, and you know that no matter what they do, he's gonna win at the end. Like they have no hope to stop him. And before that, we get a little bit of a montage of what's going on with everyone, like as they prepare for this newest final battle between Courtney picking up the staff, Yolanda accepting her being Wildcat one more time, Rick trying to fix the hourglass with his dad's note, Pat putting on the final touches to strike, Mike spending time with the new Thunderbolt, technically speaking, Cindy making a call to kind of call in another reinforcements in for it, and Cindy just again tying in with her nightmares and you know what Eclipso's planning. It seems like Eclipso's plan is to use Stargirl's power to access the staff so that he can amplify his powers even more so, to create, I think, the most perfect darkness in the world. I think that, I don't know what the freaking darkness this freaking villain is. I'm being honest with you. And that's where the episode ends, with him just declaring like he's gonna win. So next week is the battle between, once again, heroes versus the villain. Who's gonna win? How will they win? Hopefully anything too overly stupid in a TV sense, but we'll find out next week. Because that was it for this week's episode of Stargirl. I don't think I'm forgetting anything else. No. Also, I'll say this again. I'll expand more about this in the season 3 predictions in a few weeks. But a cool idea that just popped in my head, since I'm pretty sure Cindy's gonna move in with the Whitmores at some point. Rick's gonna have to move in because like his uncle probably's gonna disown him. Maybe even Yolanda, in case like her parents decide, okay, you want to be friends with Courtney, you're out of this house. I would love it because like I remember the Ultimate Spider-Man comics. Towards the later half, there was like an element where like freaking Spider-Man, Human Torch, Iceman, some combo of the two, Kitty Pryde, were all living in the same house, and Anime just had enough of it. I would just love it if like Pat just decided to have majority of the JSA like just live in his house. That would be fun as a concept. I don't think that'll be the case, but like, hey, it would be cool to like, you know, save some money, like just have everyone at the same location. But that's a pipe dream. But for this week's episode, I still very much enjoyed it. This was like a setting up the chessboard kind of thing for like the final move, the final play, the final battle for the season. They're also going to showcase like there's still a lot more for these characters to figure out even once this battle's over, and a lot of directions they can go in. But right now the focus is finishing off Eclipso and kind of getting to that, you know, the other side of the line where like they could just move past them. But that's still a very tall feat to climb, and I really can't wait to see how next week's finale is gonna shake it up and finish it up for us. But I'm excited. I can't wait. But overall, with this week's episode, they mostly focus on the setup, kind of like wrapped up a couple like minor things, but mostly setting up for an epic season finale, as well as laying some minor seeds for where things could go beyond that. So I'm gonna give this episode 2 thumbs out of 2. That makes any sort of sense. I enjoyed it. I really did. Let me know in the comments below, what did you think of this week's episode of Stargirl? So I believe that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's in the 2 from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the 2nd season of DC's Stargirl. If you want to know what we're doing normally on What's in the 2 besides our Stargirl reviews, we are currently doing, starting this Friday, Walker season 2 episode reviews each and every Friday mornings after brand new episode, on Thursday nights on the CW, or free the next day on the CW app. We're also doing Doom Patrol season 3 episode reviews each and every Saturday morning after brand new episode on Thursdays on HBO Max. We're also doing Nancy Drew season 3 episode reviews each and every Sunday mornings after Brandon said on Friday nights on the CW or for the next day on the CW app. We are also doing the Rookie season 4 episode reviews each and every Monday mornings after Brandon said on Sunday nights on ABC or on Hulu the next day. But next week we also have a special episode. It is the 269th episode of What's in the Tube. That's right, 269, baby. We've already reached that far. I'm not going to announce the show just quite yet. It is something very different because I did both Zanes in the last 2 ones. And this time around, so it's still in the Cinemax world of sex, we'll call it. But it's something similar. I can't wait to talk about it. I haven't recorded it yet, but it's gonna be fun. That'll be a fun episode. And also next week we're gonna be doing the at some point in the next 2 weeks we're gonna get the Titan season 3 review to finish up the Titans season 3 first impression we did back in September, or no, not September, in August. So that's also coming out. But if you don't care about Stargirl, you're in luck. Next week is our season finale review, which will be up on time on Wednesday morning. So stay tuned for that. And as always, with our usual end of season wrap up, we will be doing a season 2 review the week afterwards, and then afterwards we're going to be doing a season 3 predictions video, and that will wrap up our Stargirl content for our fair year of 2021. And then we'll come back hopefully all next year to do it all over again. But that's next year's me's problem. This year's me problem is making my brown rice before Chucky ends, which if that sentence doesn't even make sense, it makes sense to me. So we're going to leave it there. But if you're, it's a lot to do, a lot to talk about, a lot to be released. But until then, this has been What's in 2 from ActionX. Please subscribe to us on youtube.com/ActionX videos. Like, favorite, share this review if you want to, but it's helped us get us out to other Stargirls who we have yet to discover us, helps us beat up that YouTube algorithm that hates me ever so much in life, as well as sharing it for free here on the interwebs. And please follow us on social media to stay up to date with any sort of updates that we may have for the channel, and as well as ring that bell for notification when our next Stargirl review is live, which is normally each and every Wednesday mornings. But until next week for our finale, for all you Stargirls out there, stay safe out there, be good to each other, and as always, peace out.